Okay. Um. So these loadouts, I feel like, are in my opinion, but I've tried all of them, and I will be telling you 5 loadouts that I think are really, really good for season 6. Even though season 7 is about to come out, I feel like they'll work in them too. But I will make another one of these videos once season 7 comes out, when the new guns from Cold War 1 comes out. So if I go to this, this is my first one, the M4A1 and the MP5. The reason I think this is a good combo is because this gun has consistent damage. This gun has consistent damage, fast fire rate, low recoil. It is very, very easy to um like control its recoil. I don't have this gun fully maxed out yet. As you can see, it's still level 38. But so far, in my opinion, I'm just gonna say what I think is the best. So I don't think, like, yeah, you can go ahead do a gun skin, but I feel like the iron sight is best when you don't use a gun skin. You just have the normal. So you use it. I would use the monolithic suppressor, and then the stock M16 Grenadier, and then that Grenadier's barrel that gives you a really, really good iron sight with the circle. And then I use sleight of hand. I feel like it helps a lot, even though I have big mags, extended mags. And then for ammunition, I use 50 round mags, but I would use 60 round if I had it. And then my last, definitely the Commando foregrip. Use this on any assault rifle. I don't care what it is. Use it. You will get accuracy, range, and control. Even though that has a little bit of mobility loss, you barely notice it. Then for the secondary, I use the MP5. Now, I feel like a lot of people dislike, just like using the monolithic without a barrel, but I think this is the meta for the monolithic right here in the barrel. And the reason for that is you get better range and accuracy. Even though it lessens your mobility, the next thing is actually going to boost that mobility like double. So you're going to want to use the collapsible stock. Even though it's going to give us some accuracy, range, and control, it is going to give you that aim down sight speed, and that movement speed. That's going to help you a lot when you're slide canceling, going into fights, and strafing. And then the next thing is the Merc foregrip. You gotta use this on every single SMG you get. I don't care. If it's gonna bust your mobility down, but you literally can't notice it. It's like it's not even there. But it does improve accuracy, range, and control, and hip fire accuracy, which is really good. The reason you don't use an operator or a ranger is because that does only it decreases your accuracy, only gives you a little bit of range and control, and that decreases your accuracy and control. Unless you're going for long shots, I guess you could use a Ranger foregrip, but I like using the Merc foregrip. And the reason you don't use Commando or Tactical foregrip is because you don't get as many pros, and you get more cons, and it's just better to use foregrips. Then for the ammunition, 45 round mag, and even though it does get a little bit controlled mobility loss, it does help a lot in ragey fights, kind of. The reason I don't use this is because it makes... Wait, just makes your gun shoot freaking slow. Um, so... And then the last thing I use sleight of hand. Sleight of hand, you could use a laser, the 5 milliwatt laser. If you were going to use that, then use the 5 milliwatt. But if you're going to use an SMG, I do recommend to use sleight of hand. It helps so much. So much. Like when you're reloading and you get the extra time, it's so good. Okay, that the perks I use EOD, overkill, obviously, and amped for that faster weapon swap, and then EOD so one has a C4 or step text. And then I use a C4, and I know stem texts are like the new meta because they nerf C4s in range, but I feel like the C4 is still really good because if you're getting rushed by like a vehicle, you're about to get ran over. It's happened to me so many times in solos when like I place third or second because I get ran over by a cargo truck endgame. C4s help a lot. Heartbeat sensors. Now, stun grenades and flash grenades and snapshot grenades are really good. Heartbeat sensors are probably the best. The reason for that is if you go in a building endgame, you can get better like rotations and locate enemies. I I can't speak. Enemies, so that it is really easy to rotate endgame and know if you're gonna get jumped into building or not. Okay, loadout number 2. So I feel like this loadout is really good. I think the kilo is gonna be a really good thing. Now, I know that the VLK is probably the go-to thing on the kilo voice crack on the kilo, but actually, I mean it is a really good thing to use on the kilo, but I feel like the core combat hollow sight is really good. And I feel like if you grind it out, the blue dot sight on the hollow sight, it's going to help a lot. Now, as you can see, I've already tried grinding a little bit. I do use this still because I feel like it's just probably the best out of all these except for the blue dot. But this is going to be all the attachments. Monolithic suppressor, the 19.8 prowler, just for that extra range, accuracy, and control. Probably the best barrel on the kilo. And then you're going to want to use the Commando foregrip. Commando foregrip on every AR. 60 round mag. The reason I use a 100 drum is because it just looks weird. And then it also takes so long to reload. And the control is just insane. It's so hard. And that is what I would use. If you do not feel comfortable using the hollow sight on an AR, definitely go to the VLK. But that is a loadout for primary. Then the secondary, you can go to shotguns or SMGs. I like using SMGs. You go to the MP7. Now, the MP7, this is the loadout. Monolithic suppressor. I don't have it yet, so I'm just gonna use tactical. I use the FSS Recon. Now, the reason for that is if you use a SWAT, you really don't get that much range and bullet velocity is down. If you use this, range, mobility is down, and the aim sight speed. But if you use this, you get accuracy, range, and control, which is all what you want. So I use the Recon. Next, I use the tac laser. And the reason for that is when you're aiming, it's really easy to aim from range because MP7 does shred at... I can't breathe. Okay, the MP7 does shred at range. And then I would use the no stock, but it's so hard to aim. With the MP7, it has range. It's so hard to aim. So I just use normal stock. I don't put a stock on that. I just use a normal stock. Then I do not use this. I use the Mark 4 grip. Mark 4 grip is the go-to thing on an SMG. Ammunition. I use a 60 round mag. That's a lot for MP7. I have a monolithic suppressor if you have one. If not, use tactical. FSS Recon, tac laser, Mark 4 grip, and 60 round mag. That is my secondary. And then same things, except since you're going for a little bit more range, I recommend using a Semtex and heartbeat sensor with this loadout, and then same perks, EOD, overkill, and amped. Okay. Now, if you're okay, now this loadout's gonna be for you. If you're kind of a guy who likes to use Ghost or RPGs, then this is for you. Instead of you, so we'll go to the perks first. I use double time for this because I feel like this will help a lot with movement speed of how this loadout is. I use Ghost, double time, and amped. Those are the perks. I use C4, heartbeat sensor. Now the AR is going to be the M13. You're going to want to use tac suppressor. I mean, you're going to want to use monolithic, but if not, tac suppressor. If you don't have it. Then the barrel, I would choose this, but I don't have it unlocked. I forgot what it's called. But just choose the bottom one, this one. It's going to give you all the good stuff. Then for optic, I do use the hollow sight. I feel like that's the best sight for the M13, especially when you get the blue dot unlocked. Next, 50 round mags, you already know. Next, command of foregrip, you already know. And then finally, I do use the sleight of hand for faster reload speed. Then for secondary, I actually go to launchers and I go to I go to the RPG. Now, if you go to the RPG, heck, dude, okay, just go to the RPG. RPG is secondary. So M13 with that build, with this build, and then the RPG. I feel like that's a good combo with Ghost. And then that is the third loadout. Fourth loadout. Uh, if you're more of a kind of guy who doesn't like to use ARs or snipers, or you like to rush everybody, this is for you. MP5, and then also the whatever shotgun you like. I do prefer the VLK Rogue for this, um, for the setup. For the VLK first, you're going to use the Forge Tac Marauder. Now the reason you don't use Choke, even though it does give you that more range, the Forge Tac Marauder does give you more damage range, tighter pellet spread, sound suppression, and accuracy. And so I feel like that would be the best. Use the 16-inch Warlord, 5 milliwatt laser. I actually do not use that. I'm going to deselect that. I use the no stock for pushing and just better mobility. I use Dragon's Breath rounds. You're gonna want to use Dragon's Breath on every shotgun. And then the race grip. The race grip gives you that accuracy, range, and control. If you use the Marauder and this grip, it's gonna give you a lot of range. And that is basically my build for the VLK. And then for the MP5, same build. You already know. You do not use that. You're gonna use this. You're gonna use collapsible. You're gonna use 45 round. You're gonna use Merc foregrip. And you're gonna use the sleight of hand. That's MP5 and VLK rope. Next, I use cold-blooded for heartbeat, just in case, or thermal. Then overkill, and then amped. Amped you want to have as every third perk. Then I do use the C4 and the heartbeat on this. That is the fourth loadout. And then the final fifth loadout. Now, it does prefer whether you like snipers or marksman rifles better. This is for a marksman rifle, but I will go over snipers. You're gonna use the Car 98, okay? You're gonna get the monolithic suppressor. You're gonna get the 25.1-inch barrel. You're gonna get the sniper scope, and then I do not use underbarrels. I use the graduated grip tape, and then For the last, I use tack laser. This is gonna help when you aim for a lot more consistent headshots and body shots. Now, now, for a secondary, for the perks, you're gonna use EOD, Overkill, and Amped. Then you're gonna want to use you're gonna want to use a where is it? Fennec. Now, I feel like the Fennec is a really good combo for a Kar 98. And this build, I don't have everything yet, but we're just gonna go on it. You're gonna use this, the ZLR Zabre for the muzzle. For the barrel, you're gonna use the Apex. The Apex is probably the best barrel, a lot of those. And then after that, you're gonna go to underbarrel, Mark 4 grip, ammunition. This is a go-to. I swear, if you don't have the 40 round mags on the Fennec, you're a dead man if you try to go in the fight. I swear. Go and plunder, grind your levels for this, okay? Get this 40 round drum mag. Then also grind your butt cheeks off for the sleight of hand. That's gonna be good. This gun takes 3,000 years to reload. Okay, and that is my Fennec loadout. And then I use the Semtex and the stun grenade for this. Now, these are my 5 loadouts for Season 6 going into Season 7. This is my main loadout, M4 and MP5. Second go-to is a Kilo and that thing, the MP7. I can't frickin' talk. Then next is the M13 RPG. Next is going to be the MP5 and the VLK. And then last is going to be the Kar 98 and the Fennec. Now, if you're still watching, this is a bonus loadout. M13. Okay. So if you go to these, sleight of hand. No. Okay. That's the loadout for the M13. This is a bonus loadout. Now, you're going to want to have Overkill equipped. This is going to be EOD, Overkill, and Amped. You're going to use a C4. And you're going to use a heartbeat sensor. Now, if you go to shotguns, I love the VLK. It's so good for one-shotting. You're gonna already know you're gonna have this. You're gonna have these loadouts. No stock, 16-inch Warlord barrel, 4-stack Marauder muzzle, the pump grip. For the pump grip, you're gonna use the XRK race grip, and then you're gonna have Dragon's Breath rounds as your ammunition. And that is my loadout that I dropped 36 kills, I believe it was, in plunder. I'm 13 VLK. It is so good. Yeah, those are my 5 plus bonus loadouts for Season 6 going into Season 7. I will make another one of these videos in Season 7 for the guns that come out. I do believe the Kilo is also getting nerfed, and so I will make a video on that. But I hope you found this helpful. I hope you like this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe. Please, it would help a lot. It would mean so much to me. And yeah.